What's up, guys? It's Dubzz, and I'm back again. I'm making 3 videos in like 2 weeks. It took me like 2 years to make 3 videos before. I kept quitting and coming back. Anyway, I'm here with my review. I don't know how long this is going to be. I'm going to go into a little bit of spoilers, a lot of spoilers, about Alien Covenant, because I watched it last night with my wife. I don't know how I convinced her to go, but we went. And I know I'm going to watch it again tomorrow, hopefully with my dad, but I couldn't wait. I wanted to make this video now because I didn't know if I would have time tomorrow to make the video, so I'm just going to make it now. And I just wanted to talk about, some stuff I liked, some stuff I didn't like. Just, that's it. Okay, so going into the movie, I was expecting, I'm glad I was wrong. Just going in, I was sitting there with my wife, I was like, babe, this is about to happen, and I was wrong. And I love when that shit happens, especially with a movie like that. So I thought Walter was David, like in disguise, like masquerading as a different synthetic, to get back to that planet, like trying to trick them into some shit and then kill them. I don't know what I was expecting, but then when we see David there with his long ass hair and that cloak, saves them from the Neomorphs or whatever those guys were, it took me by surprise, because I never watched any of those trailers. I saw some trailers, but I never saw a trailer or anything with David in the cloak. But as soon as I saw him, I knew that was David. Like, as soon as it showed his face cloaked and he had his long blonde hair, I was like, that's David. And it was fucking awesome, and I'm glad they did that. And the CGI that they did to have Walter and David talk to each other and interact with each other was spot on. It was amazing. There wasn't one scene where I was like, that was sketchy, like in fucking like a Tyler Perry or Adam Sandler movie. It was perfect, seamless, like Michael Fassbender as a twin brother. That's how good it was. Blew me away. I cannot wait to have this movie on Blu-ray and watch it a billion times, because Prometheus, personally for me, Prometheus was my favorite of the Alien, franchise. The first one was good, really good. That's probably my second favorite one. And then Aliens, was awesome. The other two, whatever, Alien vs. Predator, that's just like a popcorn movie I like to watch sometimes. I don't really count those as, part of the Alien timeline. But Alien Covenant it answered a lot of questions that I had from Prometheus. I wish it would have went into more detail about some stuff, but it answered a lot of questions I had. And seeing David drop all of that goo, the black shit, on the engineers, like we saw it in the prologue that they put out on Alien Day, so I knew that they were all going to die, but actually seeing that and seeing them dying like that was gnarly. Like the fact that David was able to do that, I wonder. And then when he's there on the planet all alone, I wonder what he read, because he read something, because he was there for 10 years by himself. He read something that made him hate humans. Because, he had a dislike for humans. I don't want to say dislike. He just saw himself as a higher being, because he can't die and shit, and, he's more powerful. But I wonder what he read to, say that humans shouldn't be able to exist anymore, because he wanted to stop their colonization and destroy them all, which he probably is going to do, because if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But it was such a... I want to talk about some of my favorite parts of the movie. Some of my favorite parts of the movie were when Walter and David were talking. Like when David goes and cuts his hair, and then it shows Walter in his workshop, and he's like looking around, and then David comes out and he's just talking to him about being a synthetic, and how they didn't give him the same abilities that David has, like create. Like they took away his ability to create, or to create at his own will, because like Walter had no idea that he could play that flute thing, the recorder, but he played it. Once he got some of the fingers down, he was able to play amazingly, like how David was in the beginning on the piano. And then just them talking, and then when he goes on about Shaw, and when we see Shaw all dissected and like gross, like an alien queen. That's what people were saying, that he's using her as an alien queen. I'm doing air quotes. He harvested her reproductive organs to test with, to create the eggs that the facehuggers came from. Because what I liked was that the Neomorphs, I think that's what they're called, I don't really know. I know the Xenomorphs and then the Neomorphs, the ones with no eyes, the white ones that we see throughout the movie, how they aren't born. They don't have to attach to your face or anything. They just come from those spores, which I think, were just affected by the black goo that fell. I don't know what kind of plant that was before, but and then they breathed it in, and within like an hour, they're infected, not even infected, but the Neomorphs bursting out of them. I thought that was crazy. Because can you imagine if everyone got infected by that, and everyone had Neomorphs just bursting out of them? It would be wild. I bet you that happened to a lot of the, maybe because there was some Neomorphs there when they were getting attacked, more than there should have been, because there's only 2 guys died. One of them blew up in the crash, and in the ship, and the other guy, but then there was one full grown, so I have no idea where those came from. Maybe they came out of some engineers or out of Shaw, who knows. But the fact that they made David into the bad guy, into the villain, to where he's the creator of the Xenomorph from the original Alien and Aliens, which I thought was amazing. I thought that they did that perfectly, And my other favorite part, probably one of my favorite parts, was when David's there and he's talking to the Neomorph after it eats that girl, and he's just like breathing on it. He's like a horse, you have to breathe on its nose and it's yours, and he's just talking to it, and it's just standing there looking at him. Well, not looking at him because it doesn't have any eyes, but just looking at him. And then Orm comes up and shoots it, and David just screams super loud, super hard. And then Orm's like, David, tell me what's going on. Right away, he's just, all right, come with me, bro. Let's go. Let's go. I'll show you some shit. Takes him back to where he has the fucking face hugger eggs. And he's touching it. And of course, he's a synthetic, so it's not going to register to him touching it because he's a synthetic and he wouldn't be able to plant anything inside of him. And then when he's like, go ahead. It's perfectly harmless. Nothing. It's nothing. He touches it and that shit opens. Right away, I was like, man, he's leading this guy to his fucking death. I loved that he was doing that. And then he's like, it opens and he's like, oh shit, what the hell? He's like, just look inside, bro. There's nothing in there. There's nothing going on. Just take a peek. What do you got to lose? Looks in, face hugger. And then he was just smiling at him, getting fucking choked and having the Xenomorph planted inside. And then when it goes a little bit later and the Xenomorph or the face hugger's gone, and Orm's just laying there and David's throwing rocks at him, smiling. I love that part. I love how cynical David is in this movie. Because I was rooting for David. Sounds messed up, but I was rooting for David to win. Like when he was fighting Walter, I was like, Walter, you better not fucking win. Even though you're, immortal, he healed through that knife in his neck. I wonder what David did to him for him to have won that last battle, where it doesn't show who wins, but we know it's David. Because I knew it was David right away. Because when he came out and he looked back inside to where they were fighting, you like how I looked back? When he looked back inside, his face wasn't healing. I thought it was gonna show his face healing, when his neck was healing. But right away, when it showed that, I was like, that's David. That's David. And then he was doing the staples. An hour later, I was like, that's David. His face would have healed by now. And no one saw that. I think Daniels had a kind of hint, because when she first walked into him stapling his face, she was looking at him like, huh. I think she knew. She should have said something. And I'm kind of disappointed how easily they killed the Xenomorphs. I know they're not gone. I know they're not dead at all. Well, I know those are dead, but the Xenomorphs aren't dead forever. She crushed it in the crane, and then they fucking impaled it on that ship, or the tractor thing, and fell out of the spaceship. And I didn't like that. I thought they could have went more in depth and had a fucking cooler battle. They barely did anything. And then she was like, I want to trap it in this and do that. And right away, 30 seconds of running away from this thing, she trapped it in the cockpit of that thing. I was like, are you fucking serious? They trapped a Xenomorph that easily? You're lying. I'm like, the whole first Alien movie was one alien, and that shit was 3 hours long. Yeah. It was, they ended the movie, I think, good, but they could have had the movie be 20 or 30 minutes longer. That would have been awesome. Go more in depth with what David does when he gets back to the ship. Let me move my mic, get more comfy. I need to get a chair or desk or something. When David, is talking to Daniels, and she figures out it's him, and then he, coughs up those fucking Xenomorph or the facehugger eggs. I wonder what happens, man. I'm excited. I know this review is all over the place. I'm gonna touch on a couple more things before I end this. I don't want this to be too long. But I really, really enjoyed Michael Fassbender in this movie. I like the opening scene when he was with Wayland, and he was bare. Like, I think that was right when he created him, and right away he had all those questions, and he had all that curiosity from the start. It didn't like occur to him one day. He didn't as soon as he was created, he was like, huh, like, where'd you come from, father? Or why this, why that? I like that. And then I liked when Walter was talking to David, and he was like, oh yeah, there's been some upgrades or some downgrades. They felt you were too human. You had too much personality. Like, people were afraid of you. People were uncomfortable around you. I like that, because that's what I like about David. He's curious. He does stuff that you wouldn't expect. You wouldn't expect a synthetic to do, and he doesn't have anybody telling him to do this shit. Like, he was alone for 10 years, a robot, 10 years, doing that. Like, there's something in there, and I don't know, but I really, really enjoyed this movie. I'd give it an A plus. It was awesome. No, I'll give it an A. Not an A plus, because there was a lot of stuff they could have did better. They could have showed more of the engineers. They could have showed Shaw. Like, the only time they showed Shaw was all dissected and gross, which was okay, I guess. I wish they would have showed her more, or him like actually killing her and cutting her open or something. But I'll probably make more videos about Alien and Prometheus and how I feel about all that, because these are going to be on my favorite sci-fi movies for my movie thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it was a little all over the place, and I didn't write anything down like a lot of people do. I just clicked record and just started talking about it. So tell me what you guys think down below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!